Easter was over for another year, and members of the ton were beginning to gather in London in growing numbers, as they always did during the months of springtime. Soon, both Houses of Parliament would be in session again to occupy many of the men, especially those of the aristocracy, as they conducted the business of the nation. Men and women would fill every available hour of every day hosting or attending a dizzying number and variety of social entertainments. Balls, soirees, concerts, garden parties, Venetian breakfasts, to name but a few. For spring in London was the time of the season. It was also the venue of the great marriage mart, where young ladies, fresh out of the schoolroom, were brought by hopeful parents to be viewed and courted by gentlemen in search of brides, and the young of both genders vied for the most coveted matrimonial prizes in terms of looks, birth, and fortune. Lady Philippa Ware, elder daughter of the late Earl of Stratton and sister of the present Earl, was not fresh out of the schoolroom. She was 22 years old, an age at which some would consider her perilously close to being left on the shelf to gather dust. She feared it herself. Nevertheless, she was on her way to London for the first time, and, therefore, for her very first season. She was travelling with her mother, Clarissa Ware, Dowager Countess of Stratton, and her sister, Lady Stephanie Ware. Stephanie was 16 years old, and very definitely still in the schoolroom. Leaving her behind at Ravenswood Hall in Hampshire, however, would have meant leaving her alone there with Miss Field, her governess, as well as a house full of servants, of course, since all her brothers were elsewhere. Devlin Ware, Earl of Stratton, was currently in Wales to attend the wedding of his wife's brother, before following his mother and sisters to town. Major Nicholas Ware was with his regiment somewhere in northern Europe, where the Duke of Wellington was gathering his armies again to deal with the renewed threat posed by Napoleon Bonaparte, who had recently escaped from exile on the island of Elba and was reputed to be raising a massive army again. Owen Ware was in the final term of his first year at Oxford, and Ben Ellis, their half-brother, older than Devlin by more than 3 years, had gone for a few weeks with his 2-year-old daughter to Penellon, a manor house on the Hampshire coast he had purchased from Devlin the year before and was having renovated before moving there permanently later in the year.